Welcome to the Positive Sports Podcast. I'll be your host this evening, Ed Montana. Alongside me today, my mime brother, Alex.
I can't get out of this box.
I guess it's
Mime brother?
No, I guess you weren't being a mime. You were being a
Ventriloquist? Is that what you
you're my ventriloquist dummy. There you go.
Hey, I'm no dummy.
Wait a minute. Who's the dummy? If you're just
I'm the ventriloquist. You're the dummy.
No, you're the dummy because no sound is coming out of your mouth.
I'm the ventriloquist. You're the dummy.
You're hardly a ventriloquist.
I had my hand up your ass.
No, well, that's how we know that's not true.
Let's start off the show by extending our condolences and prayers to David Ortiz, Big Papi, who, if you haven't heard, last night, Sunday night, he got shot in the back, cowardly in my opinion. Got shot in his back. The bullet supposedly went through his navel, stomach area, and so he got operated on. And now he's being transported to Boston. So prayers out to David Ortiz, man.
It's crazy
because he is one of the good guys.
He is one of the good guys. Apparently, he was in some part of town that's got a good nightlife. And did you see the picture of the guy?
Oh man, they fucked him up.
They beat the shit out of him. So they caught him, and because I guess he was on a motorcycle or something. And the other guy got away, but they beat him up.
Yeah,
and if he ends up going to jail over there, they love Big Papi. He's probably in for more beatings. I'm not quite sure what the deal was. I hope he's got a good excuse. I mean, not that there's ever a good excuse, but I hope he's got a good excuse. Otherwise, yikes.
Yeah, it's not gonna bode well for him.
It's not gonna go well. Speaking of condolences, we should also send out our condolences to Mitch Haniger. Is that it?
Yes.
Mitch Haniger of the Seattle Mariners.
Yes.
Who is on the 10-day IL with a ruptured testicle.
Out of all reasons to land on the IL,
ruptured testicle. What do they do for a rupture? Do they put it in a cast or what? I mean, what do they do with this?
They tape it to the part between your testicles and your butthole. With some duct tape so it doesn't move.
Was he not wearing a cup?
That's a great question because how does... I mean, well, this is baseball, so I mean, it is a chance that, I would like the stat cast on this ball once it went off the bat and hit his testicle.
Yeah, what was the exit velocity to rupture a testicle?
MLB Network, let us know, please.
Yeah, exactly.
That's gotta suck.
And the funny thing is, well, not funny, but the amazing thing is, he finishes at bat.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, he took one off the ding ding and still finished the at bat. I mean, personally, I'd have been out. I'd have been out of that game quick.
Said, Coach, I need a new nut.
Yeah. God, that's
gotta suck.
I mean,
you know what? Sheesh, it feels like it's been a weekend of because I think this happened like Thursday or something like that, or Wednesday, and then we had like a eye-popping incident Saturday night. I hardly watch any UFC. I know you watch a lot of it.
Yes.
I happened to be going in my car to get something out of my car, and my neighbor across the street, Marvin, shout out to Marvin, says, "Hey, why don't you come over for the fights later on tonight?" He's got he's got a very tricky cable box, I'll say that much.
Right.
Okay,
right.
So he gets all these sports pay-per-views, channels, whatever. So I'm like,
excellent.
I'm like, thanks for the invite. I'll hang out, but I probably won't pay attention to the fight. And I was a little late going over there, so I got there just in time for the Cowboys, Cerrone, and
Tony Ferguson.
I got there right at the start of the second round,
right?
Which apparently I had missed a really good first round.
Very good first round.
So yeah, I don't remember the whole play-by-play.
Like the first round was close.
Okay.
But I thought Cerrone won it.
Yeah.
And when you picked up the fight, Cerrone's eye looked
It was
both of his eyes. They looked
black and blue, right?
at the end of the first round.
I mean,
they looked fine.
I don't know when I caught the fight, I thought his eye was already a little, like not all the way shut how it was at the end of the fight, but
no, it was
like black and blue. It looked
no. I mean, maybe a little bit red from the a few punches here and there, but nothing.
Okay.
He hadn't sustained much damage, if any.
Okay, well, whatever. I can't remember, but all I remember is him getting hit after the bell, right, in the second round.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, it felt like his eye just swole up and shut.
Yeah.
But he wasn't hit dead on the eye. He was hit on the nose.
Right. So let me explain a little something here for those of you that do not know facial construction or fighting. So, and it's actually quite controversial because obviously he had a broken nose as well as a broken orbital. The orbital, of course, is the bone that goes around the eye. When you suffer a broken nose, and especially combined with a broken orbital, you've got all kinds of airways in there, and you can very easily get air through your nose into your eye. And you've got your sinuses back there. So there are cavities that have air pockets in them. And obviously we don't know when he broke his nose or when his nose got broken. But the problem was, he had a broken orbital. The problem was with the broken nose, he couldn't breathe properly. And so I've never broken my nose, but this is what I've heard. It feels like you just have a lot of boogers in the way because you've got blood and all kinds of stuff in there. However, the one thing you cannot do, at least not right then and there, you cannot blow your nose. Because when you do, that air in your sinuses and in those cavities travels. And where it wants to travel to is your eye, especially the one with the broken orbital that has sustained damage. So I don't know if you noticed this, but so he blew his nose, and then the camera's kind of going around. He blew his nose. They didn't catch that on camera initially. Another camera caught it, but he blew his nose, and then when they went over to him, he was trying to get them to wait a second because, and this is how tough this guy is. He was trying to push the air out so that he could see because he still would have had that little sliver of eye open, but he is literally
when he noticed
pushing because he said it afterwards. I blew my nose. I shouldn't have done that. I know better. I just in the moment I just forgot, and he's trying to push the air around underneath his eye so that he can get that little sliver to see. And of course, they wouldn't give him the time because if they give him time, they got to stop the fight. And they asked him, they said, "Can you see?" And he's like, "Yeah, I can see." And he can't see shit.
There's no fucking way.
No, he couldn't see. Yeah. But he wanted to fight.
Right.
And that's for people that follow the UFC. Cowboy Cerrone is one of the toughest guys there is, and he's the kind of guy that he has said over and over again, anytime, anywhere, any place, I will fight. And he's stuck to that. He's passed up title shots. He doesn't care. He will fight. And so he was certainly willing to go, but he made that innocent mistake, in my opinion, of blowing his nose. And then, of course, with the broken orbital and broken nose, it swelled up. And he had...
Now, he blew his nose, and I saw nothing come out.
Yeah, because it's...
I mean...
It's... The congestion is further back in your sinus cavities and stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah. Now, I've seen that happen more than once.
Really?
Yeah. Usually it's not a guy with that much... Donald Cerrone is a guy who's fought in the UFC like 30 times, I think. So he's obviously got a lot of experience. Usually you see that like from a younger guy that doesn't know any better or just kind of, the pressure kind of...
But you know what? I probably would have done the same thing. I mean, you have all that congestion going on and all you're thinking about is... At the moment, right, clearing it up or whatever, you're probably not thinking about, man, my eye is just gonna shut up like that, and
I saw that happen in a fight years ago. I saw it happen in a fight where a guy he's literally sitting on the stool. He had just sat down, and the coaches are talking to him and this, that, and the other thing. And they got the guy with the metal thing trying to get the swelling down, the iron thing around his eyebrows, and he just all of a sudden he just kind of pulls away to the side and just shoots a snot rocket, comes back, and that was it. I mean, it was over. It was completely over. It was amazing. It's amazing how fast.
That was pretty crazy. I got there just in time, and then the fight that followed that one was the co-main event. Was a champion from Russia, Shevchenko,
from Kyrgyzstan,
something like that. Against this chick, I forgot her name already. Jessie Evil Eye.
Jessica Eye, yes.
Jessica Eye. Her eye was okay, but I mean, the way she walked into the ring, I'm like, she's getting knocked out quick. She won't last one round.
Why'd you think that?
Because you can tell it was a tough guy or tough woman kind of act. You can tell. And because
you think so?
Yes, because and then I was really convinced once the referee was explaining to them the rules. She kind of smiled a little bit, and I'm like, if you're gonna put on a tough guy act from the moment you're walking through that aisle, you gotta stick with it. And so at that point, I'm like, she's not gonna last. What, it went like 2 rounds?
A round and a half.
Yeah. I mean, she took probably the nastiest kick to the side of the head.
I mean, I've ever seen. And it looked like she hit her twice with it. It looked like it bounced, and she had so much momentum that it hit her again.
Yeah, I mean
it was amazing.
And she just folded.
Yeah, I mean, she just fell back. She was knocked out
and then
before she hit the ground.
And then when she woke up, she's like, did she knock me out? Yeah, you think?
And the funny thing was, all those guys are standing around her, and the first thing she said, what the fuck are you doing in here? Like, she was like, what the fuck are you guys doing in here? And then she said, did she knock me out?
Right.
And he's like, she knocked you the fuck out.
What I thought was funny was they brought a chair inside the ring. They sat her down, and I don't know if maybe the telecast was on lag or what, but the referee, grabbed Shevchenko. Yeah. And, to raise their hand and wait for the announcement, and she was gone. Jessica Eye was gone. She wasn't in the ring.
Yeah, I think I want to say they took her out pretty quick.
Yeah, I was like, fuck that. You sit your ass right there on that chair and right next to her.
Roll that chair up next to the referee. You stand there and you sit there if you have to. So yeah, it was a vicious knockout.
Yes.
So what we're talking about is obviously UFC 238 in Chicago on Saturday. And, I was out at the baseball fields with my son. He had games Saturday night. So I only caught the last 3 fights. But, oh my goodness, nice. What incredible fights. Because then the fight after. So back to the Shevchenko and Jessica Eye. Jessica Eye was a huge underdog.
Yes.
And I think...
1,400.
Yeah, and I think... very obviously, and I don't want to say this because it's kind of mean. I don't mean it to sound this way, but obviously she was trying to make herself believe, right? I'm sure that to a certain extent, even an athlete like that, who's a high-level athlete, who's had a fair amount of success, even though she's facing the very best, and is a huge underdog in everyone's eyes or in most people's eyes. I'm sure she had a lot of confidence, but you got to almost fake it till you make it kind of thing. And she was talking tough all week. Not disrespectful or anything like that, but she was talking tough. So the tough guy act, that you saw was kind of the same thing. But yeah, hats off to her though, because it takes, what those people do is incredible to me. To get in a cage and fight, no matter what it doesn't matter. Like, even for Shevchenko, it takes a lot of guts to go in there, right? Like, she was a huge favorite. Everyone expected her to win. There's a certain kind of pressure that comes with that, right? Because it's not like a basketball game where if you miss a shot and you lose, okay, you missed a shot.
Right.
Here, you can get your ass kicked.
Yeah.
Right? And if it's a close fight, right, you're putting everything on the line for this close fight, and sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. And then on the other extreme, right, Jessica Eye, the guts it takes to be a huge underdog and go in there and fight. I don't care how much belief you have, and I don't care if it's fake belief or real belief or whatever. It's a those people are wired completely different.
Oh yeah. I mean, well, you have to go in there with a mindset of, just. I mean, it's combat sports. I mean,
you and I have played.
It's much different than wrestling.
Yeah, you and I have played sports, and we've come across those athletes in different positions that are wired a little bit differently, right? Like on a baseball team, a catcher is wired a little bit differently than the rest of the players. In soccer, a goalkeeper, they're wired a little bit differently. But these fighters are wired way different
definitely.
than everyone else. It's incredible.
It is. And then the third fight, I enjoyed watching this pay-per-view. It was a pretty. I mean, I was pretty entertained by the three fights.
The three fights were awesome.
And then Henry Cejudo against the Brazilian guy. What the hell is his name?
Moraes.
Yeah, Moraes. I haven't, like I said, I don't watch much UFC, but I mean, Cejudo, for being a small guy, I mean, his heart is bigger than his whole body. Seriously, I mean, that guy really showed out his heart in this match.
He took a beating in that first round.
He did, but I mean, he bounced back pretty nice, man. I mean, to knock him out like TKO or whatever.
Well, and the story gets even better if you really kind of follow it. But he suffered a pretty, I don't want to say serious, but he suffered a considerable ankle injury on Tuesday, the week of the fight, and he's a wrestler. So I was watching the fight, right, in that first round, Moraes is just kicking him and punching him and really getting after him. And Cejudo's adjustment wasn't to try to wrestle, was to get in closer to avoid the kicks and literally make it a dogfight. Yeah. And as I'm watching that, I'm like, wow, why is he doing that? Why doesn't he try to take him down and go to his wrestling? Well, that's why he couldn't get a good shot off, because he was on a bum ankle. And he took a beating in that first round. Those leg kicks from Moraes are no joke. If you've ever seen Marlon Moraes fight, especially here recently, he had one head kick knockout where the guy fell over, looked like he was dabbing. I mean, he just knocked him cold, knocked another guy silly. I mean, and then eventually ground and pounded him, knocked another guy and went down there and choked him out. I mean, I was just like, wow. And I thought for a while there, surely Moraes doesn't have this much respect for Moraes on the ground and his jiu-jitsu skills. It must be something else, and lo and behold, it was. It
almost looked like Moraes was he's not used to, or he's afraid of getting hit, because once he got hit, it's like he wasn't attacking as much. Yeah. But like you said, Cejudo was kind of getting in there closer to his body to avoid those leg shots, but it seemed like he didn't have an answer for him after that.
He really changed the game plan. Cejudo did completely changed his game plan and just got in his face.
Makes you think if Moraes knew that Cejudo had an ankle injury and was trying to focus on that a little bit, or mess up his other. I don't know which ankle it was, but I think he was hitting the right one more than the left. The left one was taped up. So
they were both taped up.
Oh, they were both taped up?
Yeah, he taped up both of them.
So it makes you think maybe if he knew something.
The story goes, apparently they heard, because what they do is, they're in hotels all week, the week of the fight. But they still have to train, not for technique purposes, but for weight. Mm-hmm. Right, so they train. They do all kinds of drills and stuff, and work on technique and whatnot to get a good sweat going to start dropping those last few pounds to make weight. So apparently they're in a hotel, and what they do is they take the hotel conference rooms and they split them up, right? What they call the blue corner and the red corner, mm-hmm. and they work out in there. Well, apparently they worked out in conference rooms that were side by side. And the story goes that the people in Marlon Moraes' camp actually heard something happen. They heard some commotion and a loud scream on Tuesday night in the adjoining conference room. But of course, there's 10 fighters on there, right? There's 12 fighters in there, so no one really knew what was going on or even who was in there. Just because that conference room is for the blue corner, which is 12 guys, it doesn't mean all 12 of them are in there at the same time. You know, they all train on different schedules. So they heard something, but they did not know, is the story.
I don't know. That sounds kind of fishy.
Who knows, man? Who knows? I mean, just an amazing...
That was a good card.
What those people do and what they put themselves through, and that was incredible. And Cejudo, he beat Demetrius Johnson, who had been the flyweight champ for a long time, had I think 12 or 11 title defenses, had basically run through everybody, including Cejudo at one point. Then he beat TJ Dillashaw, who was the 135-pound champion. He came down to 125, was going to take his belt and become a two-time champion, and Cejudo beat him in 35 seconds. And now he moved up to 135 to fight Moraes for the vacant belt and beat him. And, I mean, he was talking about going up to 145 and fighting.
Yeah.
He's an Olympic gold medalist. You know, he's a very, very decorated fighter, and the heart he showed on Saturday was certainly that of a champion.
Absolutely.
A true
I agree.
champion.
That was pretty. I was impressed.
Which one of those three performances was the most impressive to you? I understand you're not a MMA guy per se, but just as a casual, which one of those three performances was the most impressive? Tony Ferguson, Shevchenko, or Cejudo?
Shevchenko. Number one, it's a female. I mean, no, seriously. I mean, it feels like it's more difficult for a female to stand out in that sport to me. Right. And the way she approached that fight, really going after her body, and then just they were showing how Jessica I was not keeping her hands up, and I think Shevchenko noticed that and saw the opportunity to.
She went to the body early,
right,
and then when she went up top, she
yeah,
caught I dropping her hand.
Killer shin shot.
Right off the top of the dome.
God, just the way she fell back, Jessica did was just. Looking. I mean, it almost looked like her.
Oh my God, the sound.
Oh yeah, that was
incredible.
Yes.
I mean, that sounded like a baseball bat hitting hitting a ball.
Yeah.
I mean, it was incredible.
Yeah, it was crazy. That sounded like a broken bat home run.
Yeah. A broken head home run. It's interesting that you say that, because to me, and don't get me wrong, they were all very impressive.
Yeah.
But to me, that was the least impressive of the performances. Yes.
Cejudo?
Only because I think there was a larger disparity in talent and maybe even toughness in that fight compared to the other two. To me, it's Tony Ferguson, because Cejudo's. Look, they're all very, very impressive. It's very, very close to me between the three of them, but Ferguson, I think, had the toughest dance partner. Right. Ferguson went in there and said, Ferguson, this is what he does, right? I'm going to go in there, I'm going to fight you at a pace that you can't stick to. And Donald Cerrone, a lot of times, goes into fights and says, I'm going to fight at a pace that you can't stick to, and eventually I'm going to knock you out. And they met in the middle, and they both pushed the pace. And you could see it at times. I mean, it looked like a tug of war, with the middle of the rope going back and forth and back and forth. And finally, in that second round, Tony really, really kind of stepped it up another notch, where he said, I'm not going to let you control the pace. I am going to push the pace. And he stood there and would not go back when Cerrone came forward, forced Cerrone to go back and, really put it to him. On the Cejudo side, certainly the injury is just, it's amazing that he had that kind of injury that limited him and yet still managed to do what he did. And the fact that he took the beating in the first round.
Yeah. See, I think that one's more impressive than the Ferguson fight, because, I mean, at the end, Ferguson, the way he won was a little, to me, like, could have been questionable. I think what's his name? Cejudo won a little more convincingly. I don't know if that's the right word, but
I agree with you about Tony Ferguson. Here's the thing: if Donald Cerrone, if he doesn't hit him after the bell, and if Donald Cerrone doesn't blow his nose, Ferguson stops him in the third round. Ferguson had gotten to the point where he was going to stop him. His eye was pretty freaking swollen before he blew his nose.
Right.
He had a broken orbital. That didn't happen when he blew his nose or from the punch after the bell. So Ferguson was, in a way, him blowing his nose and his eye swelling like that to the point they had to stop the fight was a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
Because he would have taken an absolute beating in the next round. And he is too damn tough for his own good. He would not have stopped. And I think it would have been worse. So, I mean, I see your point. I get it. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer here, but
yeah, they were all good fights.
Good stuff. That's the most MMA we've talked.
No shit. 26 minutes.
July 20th, UFC in San Antonio. Friend of the show, won the Kraken Adams against Greg Hardy. If that name sounds familiar, to those of you that are football fans, Greg Hardy is the gentleman that played for the Carolina Panthers, got into a little bit of trouble with the law, was eventually suspended, picked up by the Cowboys, and then released by the Cowboys because he couldn't play football as well as we thought, and he was a public relations nightmare for any team. And so now, he decided to get into something more peaceful and less violent, like MMA. And the UFC continues to give him a platform. I don't agree with it, but I will tell you this. Our buddy Juan Adams he's always motivated to fight. He likes it. He's one of those people that's wired differently. But he's motivated.
Oh, yeah.
And I know I'm biased. I think he's going to beat the brakes off of Hardy.
Yeah, I think Hardy's got a long night ahead of him.
I can't wait to see it. I'm going to San Antonio to watch it.
You're going?
Yes. I can't wait.
That's awesome.
Can't wait. So yeah, tune in, folks, to ESPN, ESPN Plus, whatever avenue it's on, and watch it. July 20th.
Sweet.
Can't wait.
That should be good. Let's. You want to move on to some basketball?
Sure.
We got a finals game tonight. Game 5.
Do we really have a game? Isn't it over?
Is it?
It's over.
Why is it over? The game hasn't been played.
It's over because can Golden State even put 5 healthy people on the court? I don't want to diminish Toronto, but let's face it. No KD, a hampered Klay Thompson, that other dude, Sonny or whatever the hell his name is, Lonnie, whatever. He was contributing in the Portland series.
Yeah.
He's got a busted shoulder.
Well,
he couldn't even make a free throw the other night.
They still have Draymond and Curry.
Yeah, Iguodala's hurt. Curry's got to be running out of gas. That poor guy has been... he's been doing everything.
Yeah.
And it hasn't been enough. Look, you need your stars. And...
But Toronto only has one star.
Kyle Lowry's kind of a star.
Yeah, you're right, kind of.
Gasol, he's a star in Spain. They love him over there.
KD's playing tonight.
Siakam is really good.
Raptors got a nice team.
Yeah, overall, that's a good team.
Did the Raptors win this trade with the Spurs?
Well, they're in the finals, and the Spurs are not.
Yes. Did they? I don't think they did.
How can you say that? They're on the precipice of winning the NBA championship.
Right, but they haven't. As of right now, they haven't won yet.
Well, because they haven't played this game.
And they made it to the finals.
Which they had never done before.
Right. If they don't win the final, if somehow the Warriors come back, okay?
Right, they still will have made it to the finals when they never had before.
And Kawhi Leonard leaves Toronto.
They still made the finals.
No way. But they didn't win the trade.
But how can you say that? The 1 year they had him.
But they didn't win.
Obviously you have to look further ahead and see what happens with DeRozan, right? But if DeRozan and the Spurs never make it out of the first round for the next however many years he's there, call it 6 years, 8 years, well then to me the Raptors won the trade. 1 year of NBA Finals is worth 10 years of first round exits.
But Why do you think the Raptors made this trade? Trading away DeRozan, their franchise player.
To win an NBA Finals.
Exactly. And if that doesn't happen, and let's just say Kawhi leaves.
But if that's the case, Alex, then fucking 95% of the trades you see out there, both teams lose.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying no, because I was having a group chat with somebody, and they're like, oh, the Raptors won this trade. I'm like, well, no, they didn't, not yet. If they win the title, then yeah.
No, I think even if they don't win the title, they won the trade.
If Kawhi stays, then they won the trade because they were not able to keep him long term.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Let's make it so that Kawhi and DeRozan are both going to be in the league for another 8 years.
Okay.
And let's say the Raptors win tonight.
Okay.
And they keep Kawhi Leonard.
Right.
And the Spurs go to the NBA Finals the next 8 years.
Okay.
And don't win a championship. Do the Raptors still win the trade?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely.
What if Kawhi, they win the championship, Kawhi Leonard leaves, and the Spurs win 2 championships, but they trade away DeRozan and get another piece?
Wait, they win the final. I might have to write this down. They win. Wait.
Okay. So the Raptors win the championship and Kawhi stays.
Oh wait. Okay. Kawhi stays.
And the Spurs trade DeRozan for Anthony Davis and end up winning 2 NBA titles.
Then the Spurs win.
Why?
Because
Kawhi won them a championship. DeRozan won them none.
Right, but DeRozan got them Anthony Davis.
No.
Absolutely, see? No, I mean,
Look, for sure, as of right now, the Raptors have won the deal, even if they lose this series. Even if they, in my opinion at least, they made it to the finals, they made it farther than they ever made it with DeRozan. So I think they won the. To me, that's winning the trade. Mm-hmm. I don't look at the winning the trade as me versus them. I look at it, am I a better team today than I was yesterday when I didn't make the trade? You know what I mean? And I think Kawhi Leonard has made that Raptors team considerably better than they were last year. So, in my opinion, they won. The Spurs did not win the trade. Not because Kawhi made it to the finals with the Raptors, but they didn't get better by having DeRozan. You know what I mean? They basically are the same team. They're not any better or any worse than they were before, because a disgruntled Kawhi Leonard is equal to a happy DeRozan, in my opinion, for the Spurs. Yeah. So I think they tied in the trade.
There's no ties.
No,
I just think if he ends up leaving and they somehow don't win this series, then then nobody's won the trade. I mean, I don't. It's just making it is not in because I mean.
So there's very few trades where there's a winner in your world.
I don't know. We would have to revisit, but probably so.
Right. So
I can't think of a trade off the top of my head.
Right. Well, and you only have to think about trades that happen for the champion, because apparently that's the only way to win a trade.
Well, my thing is two franchise players got traded for each other pretty much. I mean,
pretty much, yeah.
DeRozan was the franchise player.
Much, yeah.
So if you trade away a franchise player, then for another franchise player, then you believe that Toronto believes that Kawhi Leonard was the piece missing to make it to the finals and win the finals, right? A guy that's been there is NBA Finals MVP, and to not have that happen this season and then he walks, that's not a win.
You think he's going to stay or?
I think win or lose, Kawhi stays.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think win or lose. I think he likes it there. I think that city, I think it fits him. I think it fits his personality. And I think the players enjoy having him around.
Yeah.
He's fucking good. He really is, man.
It's amazing either how injured he was or how disgruntled he was in San Antonio.
Yeah, right? I know.
Right? Because
You wouldn't think
because
so.
this isn't the Kawhi Leonard. I mean, we saw it in that one finals, but other than that, we haven't seen this Kawhi Leonard.
And I'll be honest with you, his defense is far more better than his offense.
Far more better?
That's right. That's how much far more better it is than his offense.
That's freaking amazing.
It is. He's an amazing player.
Personally, I think...
He hasn't had a great offensive... I mean, he has.
I think that the Spurs are far less worse.
Yes, they are. Far less.
I think they're nearly less worse.
Hey, man, I failed English, okay? Now, third place spelling bee, damn it.
Far more better.
I can spell.
Spelling, not nowadays with spell check, all those. I hate to say this, right? And it's cool and all that they win the spelling bee, all 8 of them or however many, which is bullshit.
Yeah, that is bullshit.
But like spelling is really kind of a lost art, you know? I mean, first of all, most of these kids nowadays, they're not going to write something out. So it's not like they're going to have to go whip out a dictionary to figure out how to spell something, right? They're going to do it on their phone, on their computer, which has got spell check, so there's no need. And enough. We'll go back to basketball. On this spelling bee thing, am I right that they ran out of words?
They ran out of words. Now,
so it was an 8-way championship?
Kobe would be pissed at this.
How do you run out of words? Did they go through every fucking word in the dictionary? Have you seen how thick a dictionary is?
I don't. They must have not been using Webster's.
How do you run out of words?
I don't think they ran out of words. I just think they didn't want to keep going.
They should have tried to trick them with simple stuff like
words that didn't
laugh
exist.
out loud.
Like words that don't exist.
Yeah, there you go. Spell Bolshinsky, right? Or whatever. And they not only does the kid have to spell it, but then he has to clarify, by the way, that was a fake word.
Yes.
Bolshinki. Bolshinki. Bullshinki. Bolshinki. And that's a fake word. Ding!
Country of origin? Bullshit. Yeah, I don't understand how they ran out of words. That is... I mean, 8-way tie.
That's Bolshinki is what it is.
Yeah. 8-way tie, though? What are you teaching these kids? That being in 8th place and winning a trophy is...
They were all pretty happy about it. I'd have been up there. First of all...
How old are they? Like 13, 14?
Yeah, something like 12, 13, 14. Did you see the picture of them all? And they're all trying to get their hand on the trophy. Look. They better thank their lucky stars it wasn't a 13-year-old Ed Montana up there. Because if I'd have been up there, I'd have been like, fuck you guys. Give me that. And I'd have grabbed the trophy, and I'd have stood in front with both hands on it, and I'd have put my elbows out so that if anyone tried to get in the picture or get close to the trophy, I'd be like, ah!
Yeah, but then the spelling bee committee guys would have came and tackled you on the floor,
What are they going to do?
Man.
What are they going to do? Give me another word to spell? Bring it. That's what I'm talking about.
They ran out of words.
That's what I'm talking about, tough guy. Mr. Spelling Referee. What are you going to do to me when I steal the trophy from everybody? What are you going to do? Toss me another word? That's what I want. Get these other 7 schmoes out of here.
They should have had him spell words backwards.
There you go.
I mean, what are these people not thinking? We came up with 2 great ideas.
Scripts. National Spelling Bee contest. If y'all want some ideas so that you don't end up with a fucking 8-way tie, hit your brothers up on the Positive Sports Podcast. You can email us at positivesports10@gmail.com, positivesports10@gmail.com, or you can come direct to the source. That's me, Ed Montana, on Twitter at eMontana21. If you want secondhand knowledge of some suggestions, talk to this guy on Twitter as well at Brooklyn Gaucho 1.
Jeez, Louise.
That's entirely too much animation over a spelling bee.
Yeah, it really is. But it's more animation than what they give during the spelling bee. Because they just sit there with these faces and then, just spell the damn word.
You ever see the kid that passed out? The one that kind of just all of a sudden...
No.
Oh, I saw that. It was a few years ago.
Who the hell watches the spelling bee?
It's on ESPN.
Yeah, it doesn't mean I watch it.
I watch everything on ESPN. I watch all sports.
So who wins tonight?
Oh,
the Raptors. The Raptors win.
The Raptors.
You're making it seem like it's just gonna happen that easy.
It's over. It is absolutely over. Let me tell you something. It's over. And I'm gonna help you people out there. Not that this will be up by the time. This won't be up probably by the time you can make a wager. But you can make a wager. You can tell your friends. Bet on the Raptors. They're at minus 2.5, 1.5.
It was 3.5.
If it's anything less than 5, back up the truck, put it all at the window in Vegas, and win you some money.
If this gets out before the game, you have all of his contact information.
No. Look, I'll put it out there right now.
You're gonna make sure that this doesn't get published.
No. I'll put it out on Twitter. I'll make the tweet right now. What episode is this?
This is 78.
78. Okay, I'll put the tweet out right now.
Man, I don't know.
I'll put the tweet out to everyone right now.
I don't think it's that easy.
If you can get the Raptors for anything less than minus 5, do it. Give the points and put it all on the Raptors. Yeah. It's over. Look, KD hasn't played in a month.
About, yeah.
I mean, no.
Well, actually, it could be longer. It could be like 3 months. The playoffs are so long.
No. Is he going to help? Yes. But the Raptors have beat them by a shit ton. I mean, the Raptors made them look silly the other night.
Nah, well, just one game. One game was a blowout. The rest weren't blowouts.
They beat them by 15 last game.
Right, yeah. No,
the game before that, they beat them by 15.
No, they didn't beat them by 15.
Dude.
Nah, not that much.
Dude,
I don't know. I got a hard time counting out the Warriors like that. Just because, number one, the tables have turned, right? They were up 3-1. Now they're down 3-1. They really got a chance to redeem themselves. I just don't.
Raptors by
see
9. Raptors by 9. Raptors by 14. Raptors by 13.
Oh, okay.
They basically won all 3 games by double digits.
Right, but the score doesn't tell the game how the game went.
It tells me the game.
Yeah, but
and when I'm telling people to go ahead and give up to 5 points, that tells me everything I need to know.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
In fact, I'm willing to bet KD doesn't make it through the whole game if he plays.
Well, I don't know.
Look,
it depends, I guess.
Yeah, no, it certainly depends. But I'm not.
I got a hard time counting out the Warriors, man. I really do.
I do too. But here's the thing: the Raptors are at home, and the Warriors just look. They look tired. They look beat.
The good thing is they had 3 days rest. So, maybe that extra day gets them a little...
And look, whoever wants to get jiggy with it, just put Kawhi on him, and that's the end of that guy. If KD doesn't have it early, man, just put Kawhi on Steph Curry and call it done.
But what about everybody else? I mean, you got Clay, you got Draymond.
Yeah, look, I understand. I'm not saying that by shutting down Curry, they're not going to score any points. But they're not going to score as many points as if Curry goes off for 47.
I don't know, man.
I just don't. The Raptors tonight, easy money.
You should put some money on it then if you're so confident.
How do you know I didn't?
Because I know you didn't.
How do you know?
Because I know. Just as much as you know that the Raptors are going to win so easily. You don't know.
I know.
All right.
Who do you think is going to win tonight?
I honestly, I have no idea. I can't even make a prediction. I just can't count out the Warriors. I can't.
If someone put a gun to your head and said you got to bet the money line on one team.
I would say the Warriors.
Really?
I would say the Warriors. Because going into this series, I said Lowry doesn't show up in big games. They haven't shot the ball that well. They go so cold. Van Fleet wasn't playing that well, and really, I mean, all they've done was fucking prove me wrong. But they got to do it again in a closeout game, and I think they have
3 chances to close it out.
Right? Yeah, but if they don't close it out tonight, it's going 7, and then it's
yeah, but that's the thing, right? That's the thing.
Toronto has all the pressure
I think
in the world.
You're dead.
All the pressure in the world.
How could you possibly have all the pressure?
Because
they went to Oracle and won 2 games. They're not afraid to go play Game 6 over there.
Well, I mean, the Warriors aren't afraid to go play in Toronto either. They won Game 2.
Yeah, but they also know that one slip up and it's over.
Well,
Toronto knows they can have an off night tonight. They can go to Oracle and win there.
Who would you bank on having the better game? The supporting cast of Kawhi Leonard? Or, I mean, who's the supporting cast for the Warriors? I mean, everybody.
Right.
Everybody. I mean, I don't trust the Raptors that much. Kawhi, of course, yes. Lowry.
I trust them more at home.
I mean, yeah, I
trust them more at home, and especially, look, I think they showed a lot of mettle going to Oracle and winning 2 games.
Why do you think the Raptors weren't, as excited winning after Friday night? It's because they know that they still have to win this game, this closeout game, and if they don't win it, then things could get, a little difficult for them. Yeah, and I think the last thing you want to do is give the Warriors a second chance and a third chance.
Oh, I agree with all of that, but the fact of the matter is, they've proven they can win at Oracle. So
the Warriors have proven they can win in Toronto. So it's the same thing.
Okay, so then the Warriors should have no confidence going back to Oracle because they couldn't beat them there. That's a silly argument.
No, but we're not talking. The game hasn't gotten there yet.
Exactly.
The game is in Toronto.
But here's the thing. If the Warriors had just absolutely shellacked Toronto at Oracle, then yeah, I'd be like, oh shit. You got to win tonight because you don't want to get to a Game 7. I agree with you there. The pressure of a Game 7 is humongous for both teams. But for a Toronto team that has won 2 games at Oracle, they really have to feel like we've got 2 shots to win this.
See, there's more pressure in this game than there would be in a Game 7 because after a Game 7, you're just playing with house money, bro. You're just playing basketball.
The Raptors?
Yeah, both. I mean,
no.
Look,
Game 7, then all the pressure's on the Raptors because they pissed away a 3-1 lead.
There's more pressure now.
Why? You've got 2 shots to avoid Game 7. Bro, the Warriors don't have 2 shots.
The last thing you want is to let the Warriors win and go back to Oracle.
Look,
I'm not saying
that Toronto's going to say, oh, let's play 5-on-4 since we have 3 chances to win the championship. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, if I'm sitting in that locker room, I'm not feeling pressure to win. I'm just going to go out there and do my job. We've dominated this series. We've won there. We've won here. If for some reason it doesn't happen tonight, no big deal. We'll go to Oakland and we'll win it there.
Listen, the Warriors
are like, yikes! If we don't pull it together tonight, we're fucked. Okay, and I think the Warriors. I don't think Kevin Durant's ready to come back and be effective. I think they have held on as long as they can, and they said, well, fuck. It's do or die now, so we got to play him.
Right. That's why there's more pressure on the Raptors to put this thing away. The last thing you want is for The Undertaker to appear in a Warriors jersey and just rise from the dead. That's the last thing the Raptors want. They need to close it out tonight. If not, this thing goes 7, and I have no idea who wins. That's my take.
I personally don't see any pressure for the Raptors tonight. You go out there, you do your job, chances are you're going to win.
That easy.
Because, yeah, it is that easy. They've done a phenomenal job so far. They have won every game by double digits. Well, the first game was by 9. But, I mean, they've handled the Warriors. And the other thing is, I firmly believe that they're not getting 100% Kevin Durant back.
Oh, no, they're not getting 100% Kevin Durant.
I know Kevin Durant's really good, but not getting...
But even a 70% Kevin Durant is pretty good, though.
Yeah, no, it is. But is it going to be enough to bridge a double-digit gap? That's what I don't think is possible. That I don't believe that at this point a 70% Kevin Durant is going to bridge a double-digit gap.
Did you think the Cavaliers could have came back, would come back from a 3-1 against the Warriors
a few years ago?
Yeah. Do you think that would have No, you're taking too long. There's no way. Bullshit. There's no way you believe.
I'm trying to think back to that series and what I thought at the time. Let me go back into my mental Rolodex here.
You're old. You can't remember yesterday.
You have a hard time figuring out what you had for breakfast. Look, did I think the Cavs were going to come back and win? No, but.
He threw a butt in there.
Wasn't that the series where Draymond got suspended?
Yes.
For Game 6?
Yes.
So
Game 5, they were down 3-1.
The Cavs were down 3-1,
right.
But Draymond was suspended for Game 5.
Yes.
Where was Game 5? At Golden State.
Does it matter? They still played 3 more games.
No. But it does matter a little bit.
No, it doesn't. The question was, you think...
The Raptors are playing at home with their full complement of players. The Warriors were not.
Okay.
And they were playing against a team that had the best player on the planet. The Raptors are going to play against a hobbled top 5 player.
But they still have Draymond, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson.
Well, the Cavs still had J.R. Smith.
The soup guy. J.R. Smith, by the way, is a hot commodity for the to get traded. Just letting you know. Yeah, there's no way. There's no way you could think.
At 3-1, at 3-1, you'd never. Well, I won't say never, but at 3-1, yes, you're hard pressed to think that the underdog has a chance. But again,
I mean, if there's a team that can do it, the Warriors are the team.
But here's the thing: if you think about that series. The Warriors were going into Game 5 at home with a 3-1 lead, just like Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
However, they were the ones that were losing one of their stars. Toronto is not. They were going up against the best player on the planet. Toronto is not. Toronto is going up against a diminished best player in the league, right? If we call Kevin Durant the best player in the league. So that's where the difference in pressure comes in, or the difference in confidence comes in, right? If you told me that Kyle Lowry was out playing at home and Kevin Durant was healthy, I would agree with you. I would say there's a shit ton of pressure here on the Raptors because there's a huge momentum problem. But when we're talking back in 2015-16, whenever that was, that's very different. To me, that's very different. Toronto is going in fully loaded, and they're welcoming in a wounded team.
Okay, but
it's different.
They were wounded too, the Cavs. I mean, they didn't have their number 2, number 3 option.
Yeah, but they had played the whole series that way. They had played they'd been out for a while.
Okay, but still. I mean, they were down 3-1. I mean, nobody in their right mind thought the Cavs were going to come back.
Okay, and do you think the Warriors felt any pressure? Even without Draymond Green?
No, because they were clearly better than the Cavs. There was no pressure on them.
So why do you assume that the Raptors should feel all this pressure when in this series they have been... Hold on. They have clearly been better than the Warriors, and they're welcoming a wounded team.
Because this is not the Cavs. This is the Warriors. I mean, it's the Warriors. Just look at the roster. Yes, there's pressure to close this team out. With a roster like that, you have to put the team away.
I actually think that them getting Kevin Durant back, especially because I don't believe he's 100%, actually works in Toronto's favor.
It could.
I think it absolutely does.
It could.
And will.
It could, yeah. I mean,
and if they lose him halfway through the game, the emotional toll of that'd be the dagger in the heart for the Warriors.
Yeah, Toronto better win tonight. That's all I'm saying. If they don't, it's going 7.
I'm not sold on that.
All right, let's wrap this puppy up. I gotta go get ready for the game.
I gotta get some food in me. I'm lightheaded.
Food can wait. Food can wait. I'm actually gonna go to the store right now and pick up some sandwich stuff. So that should be good.
Sandwich. I already have my cup of coffee that I am enjoying.
That's not enough.
It's a bit strong, just the way I like it. You got a shout out?
I don't have a shout out today. No shout out.
My shout out goes to Henry Cejudo.
Oh.
I know we talked about it.
I already shouted him out.
I know we talked about it earlier.
He stole my shout out.
But the guy, he's been talking about being the greatest combat sports athlete of all time. And while I may not agree with that, he is certainly in the conversation. He has beaten the best flyweight ever. He's won two titles in 2 divisions. He's an Olympic gold medalist in wrestling. I mean, he's in the argument. He's up there with GSP and, anyone else that you want to bring up in combat sports. I mean, he's amazing. What he's done is amazing. And the performance on Saturday night was an incredible level of toughness. He was getting battered and beaten, and he completely changed his MO to finish a very game and tough Marlon Moraes. So that's my shout out.
Sweet.
Episode 78, famous 78.
The offensive lineman from the 1960s. From the Cowboys. Or the Steelers. I don't know. I'm sure there was a good 78 offensive lineman back in the day.
You're right, because that's what I have. I have an offensive lineman. And he's not quite from the 60s, but...
Is it Newton? Nate Newton?
I don't think Nate Newton was 60.
Oh, 67, I think he was. Oh, okay.
No, the one I'm thinking of, I'll give you a hint.
Okay.
Let's play here a little bit. Number 78 played in 1 Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Did not win the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Hispanic.
Oh. Pablo Escobar.
No, but that's a good guess. From the AFC.
By the way, Pablo Escobar, he probably would have played for the Cowboys. That cokehead. Go ahead.
Cocaine Cowboys. From the AFC.
Okay. Do I have to guess the team?
No, the player.
Damn.
I'm trying to narrow it down for you.
What was it?
The AFC North.
Okay.
It wasn't the AFC North back then, but now they play in the AFC North.
Okay. All right.
Jesus.
The Steelers?
No.
Did he play for the Steelers?
No.
The Browns?
No.
The Ravens?
No.
The Bungles?
Yes.
Yes. I'm halfway there, and we have...
Hispanic.
Dude, there's hardly any Hispanic...
Exactly. He's in the Hall of Fame.
He's in the Hall of Fame?
Yes. I don't pick just any old 78.
Hernandez.
No, he was a tight end 87. Anthony Munoz.
Oh, Anthony. Really? I thought he played for the Bears.
No.
No?
Cincinnati Bengals.
Look at that.
It was a CB, not the Chicago Bears, the Cincinnati Bengals.
Damn, I was close again. Amazing.
That's hilarious. Well, with that, folks, we've come to the end of a very entertaining episode of the Positive Sports Podcast. As always, thank you very much for your listenership, viewership, however you consume our show. As always, it's available to you on YouTube, iTunes, Google Play, Podbean. If you want to get a hold of the show, you can email the show at positivesports10@gmail.com, positivesports10@gmail.com. If you want to get a hold of this guy,
Brooklyn Gaucho 1 on Twitter.
And if you want to get a hold of me, you can do so on Twitter as well, at eMontana21. Enjoy the Raptors-Warriors tonight. Enjoy your week. Can't wait to see you next week. As always, folks, ignore the negativity. Be the positivity.
Peace.